I would say at the start, the challenge was that no one knew how to do it. No one was doing it. There had been pockets of progress and innovation. Some people were making jeans with recycled content. Some people were eliminating hazardous chemicals or using organic cotton. But the guidelines were the first opportunity for people to fulfill a number of criteria in the same pair of jeans, which is where the real challenge comes.
So we've got an idea of how we can redesign jeans based on a vision of a circular economy for fashion.
So we have been joined now in the studio by Natasha from the Foundation's Jeans Redesign Project. So Natasha, some people in our audience might be familiar with the Jeans Redesign Project, but could you give us a summary of what this project is all about?
Sure, and thank you for having me. It's great to be here. The Jeans Redesign is a project that we launched in 2019, and it was set out to be a starting point for the fashion industry to get started on their journey to a circular economy. So in 2019, we had organizations coming to us asking, how do we get started? We know what we need to do, but we don't know how to get going. So we locked 80 industry experts in a room together. And together there were NGOs, academia, designers represented in that group. And by the end of that working session, we had created a set of common definitions, and then that turned into the set of Jeans Redesign guidelines that we launched the project with. And then a group of participants signed up to come on the journey with us. And at the beginning, they didn't know how they would make jeans fit to be for a circular economy. And now here we are 4 years later, we have a larger group that have been on this journey, and we're excited to share the insights from that.
And this is the second iteration of the Jeans Redesign Project. So what's new and different about it now?
Yeah, so it is the second. So the first one was 2019 to 2021, where we launched the last report. And in that group, we had 72 organizations coming on the journey with us. Then in 2021, we updated the guidelines with the second report. We made them a bit more ambitious. We raised that minimum bar based on the progress made by the participants. And then we also grew the group. So we went from 72 to 100 organizations. And they're now 2 years on, 2021 to 2023, have been working away to design and remake jeans and fabric in line with these new, more ambitious guidelines.
So you said there's 100 organizations now redesigning jeans. Can you give us a bit of a background to them and also a few more facts and figures?
Sure. So you're correct, we have 100 participants taking part in this iteration of the project. So that group grew from 2021. And what's a really special feature of the Jeans Redesign, and is the case in the first 2 years, is that we have players from across the fashion industry taking part. So it's brands and retailers, fabric mills, garment manufacturers, and vertically integrated units, which is where they have the whole production process under one roof. And this group are from over 25 countries globally, which is a really great spread, and we're excited to have a lot of different perspectives and organizations involved in the project. And in terms of hard stats, this time around, brands have been able to bring over 1.5 million pairs of redesigned jeans to the market, which is a threefold increase from the last time, and is really exciting to see. And another really exciting figure is that over a third of these organizations also reported applying these circular design principles to garments beyond jeans. So we're starting to see the uptake of circular design principles in a much broader sense beyond the remit of the Jeans Redesign Project.
And Natasha, what have been some of the biggest or the most challenging areas that the participants have revealed through their experience in this project?
It's a great question. I would say at the start, the challenge was that no one knew how to do it. No one was doing it. There had been pockets of progress and innovation. Some people were making jeans with recycled content. Some people were eliminating hazardous chemicals or using organic cotton. But the guidelines were the first opportunity for people to fulfill a number of criteria in the same pair of jeans, which is where the real challenge comes. So beyond that large challenge, we have this group who have now proven that that's possible. But there are still challenges that remain, particularly around producing jeans with stretch. So skinny jeans are still quite tricky to do at the moment. Producing jeans with stretch that remain a high percentage of cellulose-based fibers, which enables them to be recycled, that is really hard. and there aren't a great deal of solutions out there at the moment. Same with regenerative fiber sourcing. That is a big challenge at the moment. So we've seen a lot of progress in these last years, a lot more activity on that front, but it's certainly not available at scale.
You said that the Jeans Redesign Project is a starting point for businesses. What do you want to see businesses now doing next?
So I think one of the headline messages from the report is that they've proven this concept. So circular design can become the norm. And we're really excited to be able to say that and bring that message. So what we want to see next is for businesses to follow suit, regardless of whether they're part of the Jeans Redesign. Action's already been taken to apply these circular economy principles to garments that aren't jeans. So we've seen organizations do hats or chinos or jackets. So the learnings are there. It's possible to apply them to other garments. So now just get going and do it.
So Natasha, what's next for the Jeans Redesign Project?
I'm glad you asked. So in the report, we have kind of 3 key calls to action for businesses and policymakers to follow. So I would encourage everyone to go and read the report for those key calls to action. In terms of the learnings from the participant group, we again have sort of 3 headline outcomes. One is that circular design can become the norm. So as I was mentioning, the uptake of activity being done by these organizations going beyond just jeans is all really exciting, and it really cements that these practices can become the norm. So for that, it's really for business to get going, take action, get started. The second of which is that based on how organizations performed against the Jeans Redesign guidelines, it's really cemented where the solutions are available and exist already, where the gaps still remain and where there are barriers to scale those, and those are detailed in full in the report as well. And then thirdly, a really big insight that's come from this is that circular products are possible and they're being made, but they're currently entering a linear system. So the next big piece for us is really unlocking that systems change and redesigning the system to allow these products that are fit for a circular economy to enter a circular system.